Often it feels like home, except for when I try to get through security. But it is great to be here. So I have the privilege today of really coming before you for something that I don't normally do, but something I'm very proud of. Today I'm here to introduce to you a woman that I consider to be very, very special. My little baby, my little girl, the product of myself and my wife, Vicki McCain, who's from Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Both of us graduates of North Carolina A&T, but we could not convince our daughter, who graduated from Ragsdale High School, to follow in our footsteps. So she sort of derailed the family history a little bit and decided that she wanted to be a Tar Heel. So we have a couple Tar Heels now in the family, one of which me and my brother. But Taylor is a graduate of UNC Chapel Hill, recent graduated in May of 2016. She's currently employed at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. One of her accomplishments while she was at UNC, not only was she a Dean's List student, which we're very proud of and very thankful for, but she happened to get involved in the Greek life of UNC Chapel Hill when she became a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. And as a result of her membership, she decided at their last national convention, which was held in Houston, Texas, where I think there were probably somewhere around 150,000 attendees, that she would run for a national office within that sorority. And she ran and she was successful. So she's at the very end of her 2-year term serving as the second national vice president for Delta Sigma Theta. And I did not understand what the significance of that was at the time that she was selected, but I can tell you that what I've seen is tremendous. She's had the opportunity to travel to almost every state in North Carolina and even Hawaii on somebody else's dollar. And that's not a bad thing at all. But she's also been in the company of our presidents and vice presidents of the United States. I mean, as close as I am to you, something that I'm 50-something years old and I haven't had the opportunity to do. So her experiences have been great, and this has been a great ordeal for her. But one of the highlights during her college years, another highlight of her college year was her freshman year, where Lincoln Financial decided that they wanted to capture the history of some of our local history in particular, and national history as it relates to civil rights. And I happen to be the son of Franklin McCain Sr., who was one of the 4 gentlemen who sat in at Woolworth's. And Lincoln wanted to include him in the video. They reached out, and some brilliant person here decided, wouldn't it be great if his children or grandchildren could do the interview? So Taylor happens to be the eldest grandchild of Franklin McCain Sr., so of course that responsibility fell on her. So in her freshman year of college, she had the privilege of being able to interview my father and her grandfather about the civil rights movement and his involvement. And there was a lot of information shared between the two that I don't think had been shared previously. And so it is great to be here today to allow her to kind of reflect about, who she is and what she's doing and where she's come from. But it's also great that this is captured now so that future generations will have the opportunity to see it. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over to Stacy Brown, who will come up first. Thank you.
What does freedom mean to you? What does opportunity mean to you? What does equality mean to you? And what does it mean to your family?
My definition of freedom is the ability really to be oneself in a society at large. I am proud of my participation in the Greensboro movement that occurred here February 1st, 1960. In fact, in this very building, the F.W. Woolworth 5 and 10 cent store. My colleagues felt the same way about the situation in this country and about our democracy. And we're determined to do something about it. And we did. We came into this store and sat in at the lunch counter, which was not customary or accepted for African Americans at the time. And through a lot of hard work, a lot of danger, and at a human price and sacrifice, we changed the course of not only what you do in Greensboro, but the course of history relative to civil rights in this country.
Granddaddy, I don't think I've ever gotten an opportunity to tell you how tremendous of an impact you were to my life. What you did on February the 1st, 1960, had a powerful impact on my generation and generations before and the ones that will come ahead. You taught me to be an advocate for change. I feel that the only way that you can change things is through action. You can say a lot of things, but when you do it, a lot can come from it. Many solutions will come as well. Many people believe that we live in a post-racial society, but we don't. And so my way of being a part of that and changing that is through my actions, by being diverse when it comes to people or opportunities. So I feel that is the way that you've impacted my life.
There are all kinds of responsibilities that you've got, that we have in this family. It is not enough for us to have personal success or just success within the family. That's an expectation, first of all. I mean, I expect you to be successful. I'm not surprised when it happens. I'll just say, congratulations, but I mean, it's no big deal. It's a big deal if you don't. And what I expect you to do is to take a larger view and believe and act as though you know that you've got responsibilities outside of this family. You've got responsibilities in your community, in your state, in this nation. And there are things that you are uniquely suited for. And no one else can do those things as well as you. And in a lot of cases, they'll be obvious. And in some cases, you have to seek what those qualities are, or what those abilities are. And you are required to act on them so that they impact other people positively. That's what our family has a history of doing.
Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I want to say great job, Dad. There's a lot of times when I go places and I speak, but never, my parents generally aren't there because I have to travel so far, but it's an honor when you have a family member who gets to introduce you. So that was definitely a surprise, because I told him this morning, I said, okay, Dad, I'll see you later. He's like, no, I'll be there at 12. But he didn't say that he would be doing that at 12 o'clock. So I am very thankful for that. And, sometimes it's good to be reminded that you're the favorite daughter, even if you're not. But anyways, I want to first thank Dan Barrett. Thank you so much for this opportunity to interview my grandfather, and also for the invitation for me to come and speak today. That actually means a lot to me, especially now that was my freshman year of college. So now to think about that is the same age that my grandfather was when he was starting to think about what he was going to do to leave a mark on our nation. He was making friends just like I had maybe 2 months before at freshman orientation. And so those friends have become his lifetime mates. And though he may not be here on earth with us today, those are still relationships that he has and will continue to have. And that's the same for me. Those freshman friends that I have, I still talk to them today, and we still have a close-knit relationship of what we're doing now that we've graduated from school, which is a big deal for everybody now, like, adult life, oh Lord. But yeah, so it gave my freshman little self, who was seeking a degree in journalism, the first major interview that I would ever have. So this was awesome. I mean, I hadn't been at school but maybe a month, so I didn't really have any journalism skills. It was really what I had seen on the Today Show and from Oprah. So that was the first time that I had a major interview, and I promise you, my journalism skills have improved since then. Trust me. And so, but it gave me a chance to explore my own family legacy. For so long, I kept it a secret. No one ever knew that my granddad was a part of the Green before. We talked about it in class, but I wasn't going to bring it up that, that was my grandfather. And actually, the first time I really knew about it was when I read it in a textbook. I said, that name looks real familiar. And that picture looks extremely familiar because that's at the house. So it had been my secret, and I hadn't told anybody at college or anything. And, a few people knew back here at home. And I had been to all of the different events that Greensboro offers and worldwide, as well as the unveiling of the museum. I had read all the pictures, like I said, at our family home. I had seen all of it, but it was never a conversation because, seriously, Granddaddy was Granddaddy, and that was it. And you got a piece of that in that film, if you can't tell, when he said, I'm supposed to be proud of you. Like, you don't get it? So, so growing up, I really didn't ask him the questions about that day on February 1. But I thank you, Lincoln Financial, for providing me with that opportunity. Little did I know that would be the first and also the last time that I would get to talk to him about his experience. You really set that up for me because a year after that, not too far after he did pass away, and after that conversation, I left feeling empowered. And I was able he answered questions that I actually didn't even ask. And so that has stuck with me as now a grown woman who is seeking a career and wants to make an impact in the community. At the time, I didn't recognize what he was saying. Was only setting the bar for me as a family member and as a Black woman entering into the real world and the experience that I would have. I always thought that it was pretty cool that he was a storyteller. That's like the best job. You get to tell a story, but you can tell it your way. No one can tell you if you told a story right or not. And so because he got to do that, I just thought that was so cool. I was like a storyteller, but he was telling a story to people all across the nation. And that story was about that day. And sometimes, like I said, people change their stories, but that story has been the same. It never changed. And so even when he told me the story, he was giving it to me the same way he would give others. And so what that said to me was that on February 1st, that wasn't going to be the last day that he was going to change our nation and leave a mark. He wanted that to lead into other generations. So he didn't stop going there as a freshman. So think about your freshman self, leaving a mark that would be in history books, that would change the way we can sit now together and eat with one another. That was a tremendous difference. And so he wanted to make sure that other students and other adults, or even those who were at the same age as himself when he was in his 60s and 50s, that they knew that they could be change agents in our world. And so I thought that was so cool. And so with that being said, I always told him, I said, Granddad, you're going to get old. You're going to get real old. And somebody has to tell the story. So you got to tell me the story. You got to tell me how I can tell the story. And so he was saying, I'm doing pretty good for an old guy, but I guess I can train you. And I said, train me? I'm like, I think I know what I'm doing already. I done heard so many things. You know what I'm saying? I've heard you talk, at the different banquets and dinners and at the family table. I think that I got it. And he said, no, I got to make sure that I train you. But one thing that I always knew was that he trusted me. And so it's ironic, though, today because I have become the storyteller. I'm here telling you the story of our family. And so he was leaving the ranks to me, but I didn't even notice it. I wasn't noticing at that time, even though I requested for it. I'm like, just say yes. I'm not doing any more than that, just say yes. But he was training me so that I could be the storyteller for our family legacy. As the oldest grandchild, and I want to be able to do that in the community, but also with my younger sibling as well as my little cousins, because as they will grow up, they will begin to see some of these things that I am seeing now in the real world and that I saw in college, and I want them to be able to be storytellers of their own story. I want to prepare them for that. So he gave me the tools that I needed to become an activist in my community. He also gave me the tools to be a student leader on campus, to be a mentor to my peers, and now to students as I work at the university. And he also gave me the tools that I need to serve as the national second vice president of a major nonprofit. So he was really equipping me with these things all the time. And so he would always say to me, like he said in the video, everything is an expectation. I remember maybe it was a few months before, I believe we filmed this in September, and in May I had graduated, and I said, well, Granddaddy, I'm so glad that you came to my graduation party. And he's like, I honestly don't know why we're celebrating, because you're supposed to graduate. You're supposed to graduate from high school. Like, the food is good though. I said, okay, and so that has been in my mind going forward, that it's an expectation. It's okay to celebrate, but you should already know and feel that you can do whatever you put your mind to, and that whatever is set in line for you, that you are able to accomplish. And so for the past couple of months, I've been living by this theme of suited to serve. And so what that means is you're suited to serve, to do whatever is in your plan. You're suited to serve, to use your talents to impact others. You're suited to serve to make a change in our nation. You're suited to serve to be in these jobs that you have now. You were chosen and selected for a particular reason. And so when I was reviewing what we talked about on that day of our interview, there was a part that really stuck out to me that spoke and referenced that he was telling me the whole time, Taylor, you're suited to serve. Though you think that you're just young and you don't know much, but you're suited to serve. And so what justified that was when he says in the film, you have responsibilities outside of your family. You have responsibilities to your state, to your nation, and to the world. There are things that you are uniquely suited for. And no one else can do those things as well as you. You are required to act on those qualities so that they will impact others positively. So I'm gonna let that sink in, because I had to let that sink in for me. But like I said, it reminded me that I was suited to serve. And in our world today, I'm recognizing that that's unfolding each and every day. As a student activist and now just a graduate activist, I guess you can call it, I'm seeing a lot of the history repeating itself. And so he was giving me a lesson so that I could be the change agent in 2016 and 17 and 18 and 19, and also for others to do the same, because it's a cycle. It's a cycle, and some of those things that he was doing on February the 1st, and some of the mindset that he had, and the people that he was working with, and the allies that he had, but also the struggles that he had, still exists today. And so with that being said, we have to think about what our talents, what our passions, what our efforts can do so that we can continue to evolve, because that cycle is going to break. And will you be a part of it? Will it happen because you did it, or will it happen in spite of you? So recognize what you're suited for. And so that has been my motto, and it's going to continue to be my motto as I continue to go through adult life. But I just can't tell you how thankful I am for that opportunity to go sit at F.W. Woolworth's. Everybody wants to know where those chairs are that they sat in the restaurant, but being able to walk through that with my grandfather meant so much to me, and I carry that with me all the time, and I think of him so often. I say, what would Granddaddy say? Would he be proud? Because honestly, to be honest with you, I didn't care who was proud of me. As long as he was proud, I knew I had done the right thing. So I had to make sure that when I came home for my freshman year and gave him my GPA, that he was going to be okay. Okay, or if I was going to go to Carolina, was that going to be okay? Are you going to be proud, Granddad? I'm going to run for this position, Granddad. Is that, are you approving that? And he would say, okay. And so, like I said, we never talked much about that experience, but it was through the smallest things that he was giving me the lessons. Even with our opportunities to have PF chains. We used to go to PF chains and right before they would close. We would call in the PF Chang's and eat our meals at maybe 1 a.m. But during that time, he was teaching me something, and those opportunities to spend with him. So I'm just so grateful to stand before you as now a college graduate who is taking those things that he said to me that I may not have interpreted correctly when I was a freshman, but now growing in his word and understanding what he had and what he thought that I could do on this earth during my time as a student and going forth really, really said something. So this will be a mooring to him that I will be able to keep and show my children so that way they can be inspired and recognize that they are suited to serve. So I thank you for this opportunity, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of this. Thank you so much.
So, Taylor, we just want to give you a gift to recognize your contribution today and for coming and sharing with us a little bit about